Hello, people of YouTube. It's Brittany and her goddess here on the tube and elsewhere. All right. I wanted to come on here and chit chat a little bit about how I work with limiting beliefs and manifesting, as they say, with tarot. And it might sound hard to believe for people that don't really read their own cards, but it can be challenging for readers like ourselves. I'll speak for me to really believe our own stuff for us. We may know that we can read for other people, but for ourselves, it might be certain things that we feel like we're not so sure about, or that we wouldn't even want to be in a position to have to read for definitively. But I've been in situations where I literally had no idea. Like I didn't know really what to do next, but I was, if anyone was going to have the answer, it was supposed to be me. And I had already read for so many other people that it's just like, well, why wouldn't it? Like so this was an instance where it's not just the like tarot for therapy, tarot for spiritual connection. This is tarot for life. tarot for survival. All right. So, uh, someone, uh, there's a channel, Unlimited You, Unlimited Us. He was just saying that a word that we shouldn't use when like you're trying to work on something is manifest, because that implies that it hasn't happened, or that you're working on it, and that puts what you're working on ahead of you. It's always in the future. um how I work with this in my mind is that I know tarot to be a reflective device, a truth telling device. And this can be helpful for people that also believe, like, you lay down the card, that's it. That's excellent, because you need to see what's really ahead and believe that that's really ahead. You're not going to question it so much when you see it in your cards. Ah. um, it's yeah, it's some actual factual stuff when you lay down your cards. So that's why, yeah, I am confident about some things about myself. Heck, if I read on it, if I think to pull some cards on it, yeah, I'm confident about it. And that's the thing, you've got to always think to pull your cards for everything. There is nothing. And this is why I refer back to the Bible journal people. Because do the Bible journal people feel like there's a limit to what they can pray about? No. They will go to the Bible for everything. Everything? Yes, everything. So do that. And The same for the witchy crowd. The witchy crowd, they're just like, hey, if you encounter somebody that's been witching for a long time, one, two, three, they got a spell for that, or they got an herb for that, they got a crystal for that, they've got a ritual for that. So everybody does their things, and I'm saying that you can work with tarot for everything. It truly does help to do some Kabbalah study, looking into the tree of life, looking into some numerology, looking into some symbology, looking into some stuff. It does help because it's a reminder, even though we now have all these different decks, silly decks, like all sorts of different stuff. Remember that this is rooted in seriousness. This is rooted in the mystery of life. This is the book of life, the story of life, and there's nothing more serious than that. But also, like, we're allowed to be silly about how decks are created without getting stricken by lightning. So that's positive. This deck is the cutest. This is the Doodle Tarot. I was um I was a little jealous. Um People were popping up with these cards, and they were like the original, like it was Rider Waite, but with keywords. And I'm like, where are you guys getting your deck? Like, no one is saying where they got their deck. And I couldn't find it, but I happened upon this one, and I'm just like, obviously. So, reason why I needed to see this. Um, on my journaling, drawing journey, helps me to see that clearly this deck was made by someone that could see, because they also reimagined each card. These are not the way that it looks for the Rider Waite Smith deck. This is their vision, and they drew how they could draw. And I'm like, isn't that excellent? Like, that gives me hope, makes me feel that uh, I'm not offending the cosmos with my drawings that aren't the Louvre ready. Because that's kind of what it feels like to me. I know that that sounds super dramatic, but the way that I've seen it is like when something is channeled through you, like it's always perfect. It's always the way it's supposed to be. And so I feel bad criticizing, but I'm also aware that how I draw, like where I'm at, if I posted stuff, I'd be just setting myself up for a heckling. That's what it would be. Some people would be quiet. I might get some encouragement, but for the most part, yeah, I'm setting myself up for heckling. But it gives an idea, and I'm sharing that you can also journal in visuals. People may not know this. I see a journaling boom going on, and I'm very happy to see it. People are journaling wildly. Good. Journal how you journal, but also be aware that you can journal in your own visuals. That could be helpful, especially for people that want to see ahead, or if you are able to, if you're a person that already you are aware that you kind of daydream or whatever, you have vision. Give it a shot drawing, and then go ahead and be tickled when you see it happen. That's pretty funny. And it's your own drawing, so even more amusing. Like, like let's have a good time with life. It can be hard seeing the progress or process, though. I've been flipping through my sketchbook. I am nowhere near completed with the sketchbook. Although, excuse me, if I really got cranking, like, who knows? I could be through it in no time, probably. But I'm looking, and my process isn't the way that I thought it would be. I look at other people that work in sketchbooks, and I just see their skill improve, or I see what they're interested in drawing change, or I see them develop their own style. I'm witnessing some psychic proclivities in my sketchbook, and that's not what I thought I was working on. I thought I'm just trying to draw better. Actually, at first I thought that I was going to be sketching out my outfits. Like, okay, when I crochet, I'll just go ahead and put my ideas down and I can formulate a plan as to what I'm going to do. But then I realized, like, oh, wow, whatever I think I'm doing, I sit here and draw out on a sketchbook. That's not what's going to happen. That's not what's going down. So I might as well just save myself the time and just get the hook and the yarn out and just get going. Allow my mind to see it and allow myself to be surprised by what's going to surprise. But with the drawing, yeah, it's not the outfits. It's turned into some psychic proclivities. So this is interesting. I'm trying to allow fun. I'm getting there. I'm opening up. I've realized that some things have to be kind of to myself. And this is a happy, friendly reminder to folks on the interwebs that you might eyeball somebody that hasn't posted in a while. And that doesn't mean that they're not doing Nan or they fell off the earth. It could just mean that they are privately living or just don't want to share at present. That's all. And not everybody that doesn't share is super secretive. It's just that not everybody is participating on the internet. I will say that if you do, though, as in like criticism gallery, peanut gallery kind of activity, you better put something out there so that you can open yourself up to a rundown. That's what you deserve. So, um, I'm being silly, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, manifesting with tarot has a lot to do with like really believing, knowing this stuff is legit. This is solid. People read futures with this oracle. People read present with this here oracle. So when you see what's ahead, it said what's ahead. It's like there's no such thing as a bad card in tarot. Things like some things are perceived as bad. It could maybe it looks bad, maybe it sounds bad, maybe you feel bad when it's occurring. But these are labels for the happenstance. We are going through a process. I'm thinking about you ever watch a hamster like go through, like if you've ever built a really good hamster house where they got tunnels and all sorts of ruckus to go through, they got a wheel, they got all sorts of stuff, and you watch them at night just freaking have a bonanza and go through all this stuff, running through the tunnel, running on the wheel, chewing on some stuff. They just go through the thing. You can tell in their vibe that this is like new to them, especially if you've built on some new stuff, loop de loops and all sorts of different terrain for them to go through. It's like brand new. And it'll take like a couple times for them to run through it before they're just like, you know what, I'll just hang out over here. That's us. That's us humans. So imagine like how many lifetimes we got to run through the terrain before we start to feel like, you know what, I think I got this. Or I think I can chill. Like regardless what's going to happen, like I think I think I'm going to chill. Imagine how many times that could be. Like for some it's just a couple times. For some it's a whole bunch of times. And I kind of get that vibe from people that come right back. They're just like, hold up. Hold on. Let me do that over. I can do better than that. Just put me back in, coach. They might be in the same family. It's like they ain't in the same political climate. They dealing with the same kind of ruckus, but they're just like, woo, I went out too fast. Put me back in. And like I'm saying, some of us like there's there are larger gaps, and that doesn't mean that it's always like the most horrifying last lifetime ever. It just means that we could be waiting for something specific, someone specific, a bunch of people, a certain climate on Earth, like a certain environment, things going on. We could be doing other stuff in other places. There's a variety of stuff that we can be doing, so don't think that it's all bad news Jenkins if someone took a big break between lifetimes. Speaking of I'll just pull a sample from this deck. Uncover Your Past Lives Oracle. Because this is the hardest deck. This is not easy. I want to recommend it. I want to. But this is not easy. And not to say that I recommend easy, like all the time, like that's the only thing that I'm suggesting. But what I mean is, okay, first level with a round deck is no matter what, even if there is only one way that the card, quote unquote, is supposed to go, you're going to end up paying attention to what direction the card falls. Secondly, there's two sides to these cards. That's the other thing. Thirdly, there are multiple things. There's multiple things on the freaking card. Okay, so here we go. So it says diplomat, peacemaker, mediator, other, and pacifist. And it's got the handshake there. So this is one side. On the other side, you got peace as a lesson, old age as a death, India as a location, witness or bystander, trauma, a secret faith, LGBT love, father, identity, late Middle Ages or time frame. All right, so all these different things. So how I'll kind of work with this is, okay, let me be honest. I'm just like I was I have pulled out my other past life oracle deck, the Doreen Virtue past life deck. I trust that deck because Brian Weiss, I hope I'm saying his name right, but he worked with her on that deck, and he's published books on past lives. He wasn't really a believer in that until he witnessed people's stories. So for me, that helps me to feel solid in it. Like, okay, if I lay down a card from this deck, then there's something here. Period. So I'll lay down a couple of those cards, and then I'll lay down some of these. And how that lines up, like it'll be like there's different themes, like about what the life theme was, or what kind of person they were, or where they were located. And that lines up with this deck. So, yeah, very, very handy. And then anything else with tarot. But additionally, I will say that that deck is so hard. It's so hard because you really gotta feel into it to know whether you're accurate or in the weeds. And I understand that, like, as we read for folks, whether in the public or whatever, it's for entertainment purposes only. I take this very seriously. Even if sometimes I am silly, I seem silly, I do take it seriously. And something I say often that isn't said as much just generally in the spiritual public is that major things that we want to say in this modern age, like, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yes, it does. What what ethnicity you were, what your financial status has been, how religious you were, and what your gender has been. These are major factors that can affect you today in this life. Additionally, when you first touch down on this here planet, how long ago was your first time on Earth? How many times have you been here? Have you had significant trauma in these lifetimes? What was it? Did you die peacefully, honorably? Did you feel loved? Was it public? These things make a difference. Just like we're all going to die, but not everyone is executed in a public square. So, major. If you and and a lover have been different genders before, or one of you was a different gender before, but y'all two felt a way about each other, and maybe you were gay. But this time you don't have to be gay. Hey, thrills, but also explanation for some folks. It's like I'm sitting here really loud about this because I'm saying you cannot argue that some people, like, they are like straight out, like very young. You look at these little kids and you're just like, yep, I think they're gay. They're gonna grow up and be gay. So how I receive that is that they've been a different gender. There's really strong residue of another time. They're still that person. And so they're just experiencing a lifetime in a different body, and that's part of the challenge, just like everybody has their challenges. This is why also when it comes to appearances, if you feel not hot, but you feel like really compelled, like that's something that you want to work on, then work on it. And clearly that might be the uphill battle. You're supposed to transform yourself, or you're supposed to get comfortable with how you look. But the eyeballing of other folks and being pissed off about what they don't have a problem with that can only go on so long unless that's your villain arc. That's the whole way through. Oh my god, another movie. It's like every video, some movie or show comes through. I'm thinking of this movie. Oh man, uh, it's Disney. Okay, clearly I'm not supposed to recall what the name of this movie is, but in the movie, if this is for you to know, then I guess you'll know what I'm talking about. Meet the Robinsons. Okay, there we go. So, man with the bowler hat, he grew up to be a villain. And even though at the end of the movie he had an opportunity to have a different life, he chose to just sulk away. And that's some people's decision. Even like, no matter what they've done, no matter how terrible or whatever, what kind of dastardly deeds they've done, you extend an olive branch. Like, you know what? Come on. And their answer is still, you know what? I'd rather sulk. So it's not it's not our decision what someone else is going to do. But I will say that as for myself, I have learned clearly of my plight is that I am not supposed to be extending unlimited olive branches. That's not my spot. Because I've noticed that every person actually uh, does experience a life. It's like they might complain about their life still. It might not be what they hope for or what they want, but they do learn how to live. They get to live. They figure things out once I go. But I've always had to be the one to know when to call it. So it's a feeling, it's a knowing I have. Know when to hold, when to fold. I'm no quitter. It's like, let me be clear. I am no quitter. So if I quit, if there's anything that I decide, you know what, not for me, or like I'm gonna have to fold on this, that means I knew, and it's beyond ridiculous, also. This even goes for apps, even the apps that I'll keep going with. I I even get stuck on the freaking apps. If I've been on an app for a while, even if it hasn't been working for me, I know that I've put in labor. I have, and I've been there a while. It's hard for me to vacate the scene. But I'm getting better with this. Okay, way better. Because this is why I'm over on Substack now. I was on Medium for a couple years. Years, man. I write a lot. I write more than I talk, and I talk. You guys see, I can talk a substantial amount of time. So believe me when I say that I write a lot. And I do appreciate the people that came through and followed me on Medium. But I noticed that I'm like, this just doesn't seem right for me to I made a grand total of like $5-10 in a year's time on Medium. So I'm just like I was grateful for the coins at all because I'm like, wow, look at that. I'm getting paid for my writing. Look at that. For someone who had given up in their mind completely for about being paid for writing at all, like nobody's going to want to hear what I write about. I don't have anything to say, or I shouldn't be writing, or it would be so embarrassing to sit there and try to write like, oh, I wish you would spend time on my writing, and no one read it. But folks did. Clearly not enough for me to make an income, but I'm just saying some folks did. I'm doing better on Substack. And I haven't been there that amount of time. But I learned some things between Instagram and me realizing, like, I only need so many people to say, this is a pictures app, for me to realize that my long soliloquies are being wasted on upon, and I won't say wasted. For people that read my words on Instagram, I appreciate you. But I understand that that app is oriented towards visual content. I was just trying to find a visual, and it's just like I'm writing. So, everything is learning process. Um, where was I going? Okay, the main thing. Circling back to the main point for this video. Manifesting or with tarot is mainly, it's like the way that I perceive it is confirmation of where I'm at and what's going on and what is literally ahead. It is not wishful thinking. It is not hopeful thinking. It is called, this is what it is. It kind of helps that there's some people that are spooked by tarot. Like they don't even want to pull no cards because they're just like, oh, once some cards are pulled, then it's concrete. Oh, the frights and the spirits. I'm just like, yeah, you're right. You're damn right. Um, what is for you really is protected. It's just that sometimes there is some turbulence that you literally have to overcome. And for me, one of those things has been the fear of getting a rundown. I've had literal rundowns. So overcoming that fear is a real issue. But how am I really fearless unless I really got something to fear and still am fearless? It's different to be fearless and you don't even know what you could be afraid of. You don't see any danger. You ain't never been in no danger. You ain't never experienced no consequence. So your fearlessness is is based off a lack of experience. Humph. That's funny. This is the funniest little deck. Okay. But oh, something else that was brought up about the manifesting thing. Saying that like some people have experienced having money, losing money, having money, losing money. Like it might happen a time or two, or maybe a bunch of times. When he said that, I I thought of my folks, but I also thought of myself when it comes to relationships, because I have felt the thrills of being like, oh my God, this is it. To, oh no, numerous times. I know me and I know my decision making. So even if somebody that is aware of my past relationship history would say like, "Oh, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. This, that, and the third." I know that I knew who was there was supposed to be there. So there were no oops. And if any X happens upon my video, I do not thank you in oops. I can understand why someone would say that. I can understand if the ex would feel like there was an oops, but there was no oops. Beyond like the choosing of the relationship, no. There were lessons to take place. There was shaping of personality to take place, and there was opportunity to make choices to take place. Choices that otherwise wouldn't have been on the table if not for the situation, the relationship. So I witness those lessons now, and like I've said to people on the twin experience, I'm not speaking for people that just everybody that's in some kind of soulmate connection. Like I don't know everyone's business, and I'm not going to try to pretend like I'm reading very specific stuff as I'm speaking to the general audience, whomsoever happens upon this video. But what I have witnessed and experienced is that this here person uh, reminds of some past things. The issue gets brought up again. Am I over it? Will I choose the present, or will I choose to still be upset about the past? Because my reaction to the past or other people to him projects a coloring of trouble over us. And the same with him, what he has experienced gets projected onto me as if I am those girlies. And I know that there's some things that come through me. It's like for me to be a medium, a channel, I know that I do this. I know that he does this. I know that in some variation, I trigger the memory, the frights or the anger about some folk. Oh, look at this. Started back at one. So, here we go. Um, anyway, I think that I've about covered it. Looking at past lives can help you with some stuff in this one. Looking at tarot can help you see the reality of things instead of thinking of stuff as wishful thinking. Really dig into what the cards mean and all that, because there can be stuff that's there to help you, and also you can find some signs and symbols to look for in your physical reality that can be markers that you're on the right trajectory. You are in line with what you've been waiting for, hoping for, see for yourself. Yeah. All right. So if you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you. I'm sending lots of love your way, many blessings on the journey, and I'll see you in the next one.